Geometry A, day 4, day 7, special triangles. Hey, do me a favor. Put a circle where the 45 is and label this thing HOA, which side is the hypotenuse, which side is the thing. It is the repeat of that. There's some special triangles. We'll get a few answers when you get your test. It'll be a lot of this. So they have calculators. Label that really fast. All right, here it comes. We have how about 3 people? There are 3 tables. All right, here we go. Hey, table back there with 3 people. You guys are gonna say which side is the O. Back table, you get to do H. Front table A. Good news. They get it right. You don't have to think. You get it wrong. Right. Yeah. So you get to go. I know, Adrian. No kids. Which is sort of good. They're all going up, moving out the house. That's cool. All right. Over there. What side is O? All right. H. Close. Like, she's like, is it the H side? No, it's not the H side. Alright, please write the word SohCahToa. SohCahToa. Oops.
That was abuse, I said that.
Nice. She's a mandated reporter.
I'm sorting that.
And then set it up, choose the one that's going to be. On this problem, is it going to be the SoH, the Ka, the Toa? Take a look what 2 letters are related or are given. There are always 3 sides, but usually 2 sides will be given a letter or a number. Thank you for looking at that in such a way that makes me feel bad for education. Like, what is it that they're looking at? What is it that they're trying to figure out? Clearly, if we had a big education decathlon, I'm not saying you all wouldn't be our top choices for it. I am saying it wouldn't vote for you. All right, here goes. It has the O and an A. They don't put anything on the H side, so he's not involved. Tan 45 equals. What do we have for the O again? O is 32. And X. Write it down. We'll solve this 3 times, and after 3 times, I just don't believe we need to solve it anymore. Here's the good news. If you are ever solving an equation, and there's a fraction on one side of that equation, and that fraction has a letter on the bottom, you're simply going to switch the sides. The x is going to go where tan 45 is, tan 45 is going to go on the bottom, and you're going to wind up with x equals 32 over tan 45. It is true that T and tan, I am trying to leave the bottom because that's how we distinguish it from a plus sign, which allows me to say this. T or plus sign, that's the difference. S or 5, S we make the little marks on it. Z or a 2, Z we put a little line through it. O or a 0, we just don't use O's. You never use O as a variable. If someone does, it's very unlikely. Do me a favor in your calculators. Please punch in 32. Hit the division symbol, then hit tan 45. Let's see what the answer is. One person says 32, which is a little bit weird because there's a 32 there. Let me get a confirmation. 32 top. Anybody else get an answer there? That's kind of weird, but I'll go with it. Oh, there it is, okay. Let's set up these 2 problems. Okay, get the 2 sides on which I put an X. I'm going to make this guy a Y, so the problems are actually separate. Do it twice, I'm going to see if this. Alright, let's see if something special is happening here. I think after this one, I'm going to check and see if anything else special happens. Then I'm going to show you a rule that happens with a triangle that has a 45 in it, and a triangle that has a 60 or a 30. They're special. They're like something special in mind. Can't think of special people. If I did, I would say something about it. All right. For the first one, is it a SoH, Ka, or a Toa? The first one, with the one with the 8. All right. Is it a Ta? Did you say Toa? All right. So. The second one, someone different, is it SohCah or Toa? You're the same person. All right, fine. It's too late. She said it. Even though I'm surprised that they didn't do a different one just for the heck of it. In any case, put it in where it goes. They won't always be that, so you're A tan 45 equals the O. Who's the O? O is an X. 8 on the bottom. This guy over here, tan, what is he, a 60? What's on the top? O. It's the same problem twice? Well, we're going to find out. Here is some good news. Oh, first take a look at the setup and see 60. Let's find out what's out there. Alright, asked you JR to be back up to J Bell, which means J, I'm going to ask you for the answer over here. Just punching 8 times 1045. Over there, I don't know who's answered so far, but if someone over there hasn't answered, let's have you answer and then do that. We're going to do these two, then again look to see if there's anything else different on the other pages, and then move things along. Alright, that side of the room. 6 times 10, 60. What does it give us? Okay, we'll come back to you. I know I caught you off guard. 10.39. I assume that's, well, I don't know what 10, 60 is, but obviously, if it turns it into 10, it's 1 and change. Alright, this item, J Bell, what you got? And again, tan 45, I think tan 45, I know equals 1, but I'm wondering if cosine of, hey, hit cosine 45, and some, this side of the room, you guys hit cos 45. Over here, go hit sine 45. Let me find out if 45 turns everything into 1 or no. No. Okay, so no on this side, and no. Alright. Tan 45 equals 1, it's a good thing to remember. Everybody else, there you go. This is 90 degrees, we know it. This guy's 90 degrees, we know it. If you cut 90 degrees in half, which they did with the diagonal is a long line with the X's on it, it chops us into 45. Now, if you didn't know, there's something about a 45 degree angle that's special. I mean, 45 degree, 45, 45, 90 triangle. Step 1, the corners of a square are 90 degrees. Step 2, because the 3 corners of a triangle add up to 180, if this guy is 45, his friend upstairs also has to be 45, so that when you add them all together, 45 plus 45 is 90, plus another 90 is 180. 45, 45, 90 is 180. What does that mean to you? Here's what it will mean. If ever they gave you one of the sides of a 45, 45 triangle, the opposite side is always exactly the same amount. So believe it or not, without any work, I know that this side here is 4 feet also. If he were a 7, he'd be a 7. If he was a 12, he'd be a 12. The two guys attached to the 90 degree corner are the same. If it's a 45, that's why we call it a special one. Here's the other part that's special about it. The hypotenuse is always a certain answer. Because there are 2 of these, the answer is not 8, which you would think, oh, you're going to have, no, 4 and a 2. If this were a 7, because it'd be 2 7s, it'd be 7 and a 2. It works every single time. You never have to worry about it, guess at it. The one thing you do have to remember, though, is that 2 does have to be in a radical. So you did like a 4.2 or 4 times 2, you'd be wrong. Alright. 45 degree angle, that's a special thing about it, which I'm going to use on the next problem. This guy over here, his special thing, his special powers don't look as good, but let's try it. This is an equilateral triangle. If this whole bottom side is 2, his friend over here is a 2, these are 2, they're all 2s. Okay, no big deal. If it's an equilateral triangle, all 3 corners of this triangle have to add up to 180, but they all have to be exactly the same. The only way you can get that done is that this guy's a 60, this guy's a 60, and his friend up here. I'm going to put him outside because I'm going to cut him in half. By the way, because this triangle is so special, they have to hide it. They have to do this. Here comes the question. If all 3 corners are 60, and I slice the top corner in half, this top thing, I chop that 60 in half, how much is this little angle in here actually going to be? Yeah. And that's their tricky way of saying, hey, this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Unlike the 45, which the two sides match up all the time, and the third guy has a 2 with it, there is something special about this side. It goes like this. The original triangle, the bottom was 2 all the way across. 2 for you, 2 for you. Well, if this line chops this bottom one in half, can someone say how much this side is going to be? The whole thing used to be 2. It was cut in half. How much is this side going to be? Nope, you didn't say what. It's going to be 1. Yeah, I said it wrong. Because clearly they would know if this whole bottom part was 2, and you cut it in half, then this would be 1. Yeah, no. But here's the good news. This guy's a 1. This guy's a 2. I wish we knew how much this guy would be. There's a pattern. Small 1, 2, 3. The side that's connected to the 30, which is supposed to be your reminder, is going to be a 3. Again, the longest side turns out to be a 2. The shortest side happens to be a 1. And then this weird side has to be a 3. Now here's the trick to this one. This is the only part you have to remember. The 3 has to be in a house. And this green one that's here technically is in front of it. Why does that matter? Isn't 1 times 3, 3? Yeah. But whatever this number is will be in front of the house. Oh, if this were 7, it would be 7, 3. If this were a 4, it would be 4, 3. So this guy is uglier. He's your friend here. Same with the 2. 1, 2, 3 with that. Let me do 2 problems using this information. Yeah. Pause though, look at it, just see if there's alright, here we go. There are 2 sides, of the room. Hey trio, would you all like to have the easy answer or the harder one? Thank you. Alright, so you 2 alongside. You guys want to talk it over? Alright. It's just on there, it's just the way it is. Did you say 5 with the radical 2? Yeah. The radical 2 is the part you have to memorize. That's the part that comes. Now, how do you memorize it? Oh, because there are 2 numbers that are the same. That's where my 2 come from. Whatever you need to do to know that there's a radical 2, there it is. It gets harder than that. You come up to this guy and say, oh, shoot. I'm not going to do it. Pretty where it goes because it's going to remind you of something. Alright. So you guys get to choose. One of these sides is another. They turned upside down, but yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say. That's going to be a decimal because of the 9. I can't do a 3, but it is going to be a number. Your hint is going to be on the last problem. We had a 2 over here. And then the small side was something. And I'm going to be paused.
You told me that it was going to be a decimal.
Oh, yeah. 4.5. That's what I mean by decimal. But I guess it could have been like, what do you think, like, oh, point something? Just like.
I thought you did decimal.
Oh. So let me find out. What? The 3 was what you're saying for that, like, or 3, so were you thinking, oh, it's 4?
It's because I thought that you were talking
So like 4? Okay, but you know you were cutting it in half, yeah? Okay. So Jay, on this one, to get the short side, the side connected to the 60, you just chop whatever the hypotenuse is in half. They gave you the 60 side, you just double it to get the hypotenuse. Alright, what are your answers for this side over here? Now that we have a 4.5.
4.5 and we were at 4 minus 3 inside of that.
Alright, the next page. Oh, okay, so here it comes back to just the old school thing. This is the beginning of the test. They have the SSS, SAS. If you didn't mark it before, you get to hear one last time. There's only one other section I'm probably just going to give you some stuff on. In any case, anybody know which one this is? You got some choices, the 3 S's, the 2 S's, the 1 S, and then an H valve. This guy here? Because of the bow tie, you always get an A with a bow tie. And once you get an A with a bow tie, at least a triple S is gone. You have to worry about him. Now you're down with these S's, but since there's only one A, there's only one that only has one A. So it is true. Also, the other way I saw some students do it, label it. You put an S for an A. You put an S where you see an S. Put an A where you see an A. And it turns out it almost just tells you. And when you're reading, you read it in order. All right? Going to the next one. All right. Here's the good news. I wish that S thing was with me. We got at least 2 sides. They're stuck together, also known as the Desmond, which I have been using in the other class. So some people are wondering, who is Desmond? And some guys a long time don't know. He's the dude in the other class. That whenever they're stuck together, he must have said something about it, which is why we call it that. Again, count the sides. Just put it in. Once you put them in, if there are no A's, there's only one with no A's. So as long as you label it, your labeling gives you the answer. Here's another one, another Desmond. It's stuck together. So there is a side that matches. I got an angle. So far it's an S and an A. Because of these 2 lines above, if you had a highlighter, you would do the Z. And once you put in your Z, then you can, the 2 corners, hopefully you can see that, the 2 corners of the Z. Now I'm about to label what I have and see what it turns out to be. I now have an A, I have an S, and I have an A. If I had known it was this easy, I would have told students years ago to label it. I didn't used to tell them to label it. Well, once you do, you have a ASA. Perfect. I didn't do before. All right. Any questions on this one? We're going to see if there's one more. Is there one more picture thing?
There's exit ticket.
Oh, exit ticket. Go ahead and just label your HOA on that one. You don't have to get the answer. But watch this. If for the 45 you remember the pattern, put in all the numbers on that one. If for the 30 you remember the pattern, put it in. The 31 is harder. But the 45 one, if you remember the pattern, you don't have to use SohCahToa on this one. You could. You could label it. I probably even recommend doing that. But this guy, 45, oh, you just put him in. This guy, yeah. Maybe you need to put in your SohCahToa thing. Last point about this. Hey, what if they give you both the 60 and the 30 and you're doing SohCahToa? Do I use the 60 or do I use the 30? You can use either one, as long as you label it. If you use the 30, your O. If you use the 60, so someone can be confused, H doesn't change, the other one. So, let's see what somebody knows. Anybody know the pattern on the 45? What am I putting on either side, on all the sides? Alright, anybody know the pattern on the 30, 60, 90?
Shorter side is 6, we double it, and then the A would be 6 and right 3.
Take a look at it, see what she said. Now again, even if you don't know it, you can just